Can you hear me now?
I can.
I assume you're Anthony Diatri?
That's me.
I read your book.
Thanks. What'd you think? I mean, seriously, don't. I want to know what you thought.
Oh, I don't know if this is on my. Oh, it's on my side. Okay, hold on.
Your video froze. I can still hear audio. Isn't Blue Jeans fun?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay. I live in Australia, and I'm guessing that they're degrading the quality of my internet service in order to drive me to the NBN project, which costs $120 more a year and provides no benefit that anyone can articulate to me, at least anyone in sales. So,
Yeah,
who else is? Oh, go ahead.
one sees a lot of arguing on the net about how other countries have better internet connectivity than the U.S., but I
I
think the
thought, are you
government
in the
makes it
UK?
best. No, I'm in the U.S., Portland,
Oh,
Oregon,
really?
West Coast.
Uh, oh, I've never been there. It's a conspiracy of cartographers, as far as I know. It's the one part of the U.S. I've never been to. Uh, I see a third participant is here. Who is that? David. Okay. Okay, since it's 5 minutes in, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna run through my stuff, through my agenda, and then it shouldn't take more than like 6 or 7 minutes, and then we'll open
Cool.
the floor for whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, I'll have to leave in a little bit anyway to eat, but I wanted to
Okay.
join in and say hi.
Yeah. Hello, Anthony. This
Yep.
is Anthony who wrote a book on Ceph and who asked for a more structured way to note version-specific changes, which is item 6 on my agenda.
Yeah,
So, go ahead.
no, it's your meeting.
Okay. Well, so the first thing is the placement group repair page is, I believe, finally finished and awaiting approval. I had this one change in my local file system for like the last 8 days that I finally pushed last night. So like, I don't know, 14, 15 hours ago. Um, the second thing is that there's I am documenting CephDF, Ceph OSDDF, and Ceph Object Store tool, and Neha wanted us to get that done by the end of the month. CephDF there was already documentation for it. I have written a man page for Ceph OSDDF. There's a pull request in already for that. And Ceph Object Store tool I am working on right now. I've gone through uh, David Zafman. He's one of the guys in the meeting here. I've gone through David Zafman's September 2018 presentation on Ceph Object Store tool, and I have procedures for listing objects, listing lost objects, fixing lost objects, manipulating objects, removing objects, and listing the OMAP. I hope to have that done, if not by tonight, then by tomorrow, so by the end of the week, American time. So that brings us up to current with what we had wanted to get done by the end of the month. I have started sending out these emails every week asking for comments on the documentation, which is one of the reasons I think Anthony is here. I don't want to speak for him, but that's my assumption. I haven't seen him before. And so I got 2 requests as a result of those. One was Anthony's request that he wants a more structured way to note version-specific changes because, for instance, mon OSD min down reporters, the behavior has changed at least twice, and that has caused problems. So we will listen to him and do what he thinks should be done because he has in the field reasonable complaint. And then
Yeah,
I got
I don't.
another. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, let's do that now. So
Okay,
go.
yeah, 'cause I'm gonna need to leave soon. Yeah, if there's been discussion on this, before. I may have missed it, and a lot of times, people have, just gone and put the name of the release in the URL and see if a document changes, just kind of crummy. And
Mm,
in the case of the reporter setting, I don't think it was ever very well documented to begin with. But that one stuck with me because that caused me an outage
mm,
by having set it with kind of the the behavior that I was used to in Hammer, and then I don't remember if it was Joule or Luminous, where the interpretation changed and ended up having, and it ended up causing an outage. So yeah, I was just wondering if there could be some way, even if it's just a convention under, for a setting that's changed over time, of being able to say, from this release to this release, it behaved this way. From this release to this, it behaved this way.
mm,
You know, something like that.
Yeah, usually that would go into the release notes, and so that's one thing. So yeah,
Hmm.
I changed the meaning of some things, and our thinking on some of them was number one, it's in the release notes so that it goes out with the release. And the other thing is,
That
well,
that works if they're mentioned in the release notes, but more than
right,
once I've seen changes that
yeah,
haven't been.
right. We need to be careful on that and not allow, when it's being reviewed, when the code change is being reviewed, that it will not be approved if they didn't put it into the pending release notes.
Fair enough.
Um, the other thing is, there have been cases where we've looked at something and said, you know what, nobody's setting this. Now, it could be because it's an advanced setting and it's not really intended for the user to set it.
Oh yeah, of
So
course there are
there
hundreds
are
of those.
cases, right? So there are cases where we could call it an internal thing could be changed. So hopefully we don't screw up or somebody is changing it and we assume that it would not be changed by anybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that we don't have to, so that maybe in that case, we didn't think we needed to put it in the release note. We didn't care if the new setting, the new default, and the new behavior would be totally broken by somebody having changed it.
Because you didn't expect anybody to
We
actually be doing it.
Right.
I understand.
Hopefully we get that 99% of the time correct, or
Yeah,
100%
because there were
of
like
the
what, over 1,600 settings now. The vast majority of which nobody should ever touch. Um,
time. Right.
but yeah, figuring out the ones that people, are and aren't. I think, what was it? Was it Grub Sleep that was undocumented for a while? But people were still widely using it.
Yeah, it might have been in there for testing. And
Mhm.
then I could see where people wanted to throttle the scrub back.
Yeah,
And
especially
so
when it was
it's
causing, PGs to be unavailable. I've seen that, and I've
right.
seen other people, finding that to be really, really valuable. Was it the Scrub Sleep or the Snap Sleep? One of the sleeps, I don't remember.
Yeah, one of
That
those I'm
I know
sure
I had
could
been
fall
setting,
into
but
that.
that was undocumented. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, there's always a question of, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can't put all 1,600 or whatever things on the, in the document with the description about, arrows and circles and a, paragraph on the back describing what each one's about. I get
Right.
that.
And
There's a,
if
and
it's
I
for
can see where
internal
there's a,
testing, oops.
hmm hmm
Yeah. If it's for internal testing, then um, so yeah, we have hopefully the goal is that our configuration values, I don't know if it's like basic, advanced, I forget exactly,
yeah,
but
I know
every
there's a
config
label in there
is
now.
right. So
Hmm.
hopefully every config is properly categorized,
Hmm.
and maybe even some of them are the name of the config is such. So like if it had been debug scrub sleep and people started using it
Then that's on them.
for
Yeah.
some purpose, yes, and we could say, oh, we want to now create a scrub sleep that's going to be a basic setting So it doesn't, so the name, we might even keep the debug one, I don't know, but
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Change the name and change the config value, the rating of it.
That makes sense.
So it sounds like sort of a cultural thing, like we need to make sure that anything that's in the release notes or anything that is changing needs to be I don't know. We need to use the release
Yeah,
notes
any
more
kind of a behavior
responsibly.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that satisfies my desire, if that, if that is done more rigorously.
Yeah,
So yeah, I suggested a mechanism, for, the problem of behavior changing without having known about it.
I don't know what I've only worked with the Linux Foundation on Ceph since November, so I don't know if I'm invested with any authority to be like the clearinghouse through which each release note goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not opposed to that. Like I can put aside, a couple of days every 2 weeks to go through release notes and send out emails and make sure that they're technically accurate. But again, I don't know who has the authority. So like if you really want me to do that, I will. Go ahead, Neha.
Yeah, Zach. So the release notes are just pull requests that you see coming out before every release. Sometimes they just come and go in the sense that it's very last minute. In those, you
Yeah.
might not have a chance to add too much value. But for major releases like, let us say, Octopus is going out next month, that pending release note is going to be lying around for a bit. So those are the ones you should probably go review and give your
Okay.
inputs, and perhaps even add commits, or like do whatever that you think should be done with those.
Ideally, and I don't know if there is the administrative will for this sort of thing, but ideally, everybody with a stake in the release notes, it'd be a big meeting, would sit around and then give a thumbs up, thumbs down on the text that is in the release notes. That would be like if I could wish for anything in this situation, that's what I would wish for because I can
That's
certainly
usually
guarantee.
that's usually what happens as good GitHub reviews. I mean, if you see there's a pending release not out, most leads and most people who need to say anything about that are added as reviewers.
Hmm.
And
Okay, well, in
yeah,
in that case, so like the thing that I can definitely do without with, like as I am right now is make certain that the English that is written is unambiguous and grammatically correct, but I won't necessarily have any insight into the technical accuracy of something that is new or changed. So I would need, I,
Right. I
I
was going to
guess I
say,
would
you
need the,
just worry about the language.
yeah, that's, so
You just
then,
worry about the language and stuff.
then we need like a cutoff date after which you cannot get your text into the release notes in that case. You understand what I'm like? Nothing slipping in the last like 96 hours or whatever, depending. I mean, I guess we're going to go through this Octopus release and then I'll have a better idea of how this is done. And it might be no problem at all. There might be like the review process as I see it might turn out to satisfy everything that Anthony wants. I don't, so I guess, we'll see.
so I guess there are a couple of ways to do this. One, you could just use GitHub suggestions. It's a new feature of GitHub which allows you to suggest a change. So let us say you see an outstanding PR, you go and start reviewing it, and wherever you see a grammatical mistake or a sentence that can be framed in a better way, you can go
Sure.
immediately suggest that. And the person who's created the PR can actually add your suggestions or commit your suggestions in their PR itself. So that way it saves you a follow on PR. The other way to do it would be to just like let the original PR, which is tech heavy or technical stuff only, merge, and then you go and polish it later. I would prefer the first option if that works for you.
Yeah, me too. I would also prefer the first option because Otherwise, it's just like this lingering tentacular thing that would never be finished. Um, so unless anybody has anything else about the release notes about Anthony's concern, I'll go on to the last two things on the agenda. Neha, since you just got here, PG repair pull request is done. Ceph DF already was documented. Ceph OSD DF is now documented. I've written a man page for it as well. In fact, I should probably take that man page and put it also on the website. I should take the data, the information in it and put it on the website. I am almost done with the Ceph Object Store tool page right now. I expect to be done with that either tonight or tomorrow. And that brings us up to where you were when you joined. Then
Cool,
I
awesome.
got yeah. So that we're gonna get everything we wanted for February. Anthony had written an email requesting this greater attention to version-specific changes because of this thing that he had with MonOSD min down reporters behavior changing. And then I got another request from a guy named Sagara Wijatunga who tried to install Ceph 15.1 on FreeBSD 12.1. And he asked me if I would be willing to look at documentation that he writes after Octopus is released, explaining how to install Ceph on FreeBSD. And I said, sure, of course. So we might have a FreeBSD installation procedure coming out of that. And then this is the last thing that I have on my agenda, which is something that I've thought about for a while, and now I'm going to say it. Search doesn't work on the website. And I used the Ceph DF and Ceph OSD DF as search strings, and I let the search run for hours and hours, and it just didn't return anything at all. So I think that counts as not working. So I would like to get search working on the website, but I'm a docs guy, not a search guy. What's that?
Are you talking about the search feature of the Sphinx, right?
Yeah, the one that is available on docs.ceph.com.
I was looking at it, and I will try to fix it later on.
Okay, cool. Well, if Keifu can just do it, then great.
But Jack, if you are able to build the Sphinx locally, you could search it.
When I need to find any sort of string, I just run a grep space minus IR, and then the search string in quotes on the checked out repository, and that works fine. I mean, it takes a while.
You can set up when you build the document. Normally, you use the command line under the directory named admin and run build doc, right? After that, you could test the build document using like serve doc, which you set up a local HTTP server, mini HTTP server, and you can just point your browser to that server. And
are you suggesting, like, should search work locally? Is that what you're saying? That if I build the site locally, that search should work locally? So it's
using the JavaScript to scrub to search the files underneath the document you just built.
Okay, well, I'll make a note. I will make a note to try it locally.
Because it's a balancing, because the JavaScript always try to add the suffix when trying to pull out the document. On our docs.ceph.com, the web server always try to add the suffix, even though it does not exist. That breaks the search feature. So I'm looking at it. So, okay, but great. The local server works great.
Okay, then I will I'll try it locally, and I'm not trying to be overly pushy or anything. It's just when I search for when I search for the string through the website, I let it. I did that about noon one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I came back at like 4 in the afternoon to look at it, and I was like, oh, it's still nothing. That's not good. So yeah,
It's a
so
bug.
yeah,
I knew it.
okay. So
If you run into any problem regarding the search feature, let me know. I will
I
try to
will.
fix it.
Yeah, I will. I'll be probably hitting this a little bit harder than I have been now that I'm a little bit more deeply into Ceph and have some idea of what I'm looking for. And that's it for me on this. I mean, I'm also talking to Alex Settle, who is part of the, she writes docs for SUSE. Um, and I think she and I are going to work out some sort of procedure to more quickly clear out docs review PRs. But I'll have to talk to her. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. And that's it. That's the whole meeting. So if you guys have new issues or requests, speak now. Now's the time. Floor's open.
Regarding to the FreeBSD installation
Uh-huh.
document, you might want to ping this guy.
Okay, let me see here. W A
William
W.
is our a go-to person when it's come to FreeBSD support.
Okay. Willem Jan Vidhagen. Willem, I guess.
Yeah, but please bear in mind we don't support FreeBSD officially.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
pretty much a community-driven efforts.
Okay, well then, like I won't make that. I won't make the FreeBSD thing like my top Ceph-related priority. I'll just help this guy out insofar as it doesn't cost too much and it promotes goodwill.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And
Um,
also regarding to the efforts to push the contributor of the order of PR to improve the document. If the document is not good enough or just missing, we have a label named needs doc.
okay. Need
So
doc.
when you come across the PR which is poor at document, you could just apply needs doc label to that PR, and probably if you feel strong regarding to it, you could
Okay.
you
I
could
can.
next that PR.
All right. Depending on what he comes back with, maybe we'll do that. Okay. Anything else, anyone?
I don't think I have anything for this week, Zach. Why don't you finish up all your existing PRs and then we can sync up next week about what next we can focus on.
Sure thing. And Neha, can you tell me what day Octopus is expected to, I don't know if GA is the term, but to
That's a
become
good
available?
question. That's a good question. It's not happening until next week, so we have at least one more week after that.
Okay, so we've got
You
2
can
weeks.
assume like second week of March, maybe, best case.
Okay. Since we got like 3.5 minutes left, are there any plans for any sort of well, I guess there's probably no plans whatsoever for conferences since the coronavirus is probably going to go worldwide. So we don't know anything about any time to like for there to be a worldwide meetup or anything like that, right?
Not at the moment. I think we need to let the virus settle down. There have been talks about doing an online developer conference over Blue Jeans and stuff, but that's yet to be planned. So if
Okay.
there is an avenue of such sort, I'll let you know, and then you can use
Great.
that to
Yeah.
introduce yourself.
I would like that.
Sure.
And okay, last call for comments, and that's going to be the meeting. All right, I think that's it. So thanks everybody for showing up to the meeting. Next meeting will be in 2 weeks at a time that is more convenient for North America.
Cool.
So,
Good rest of your day, everyone. Thanks.
all right, yeah, you guys too.
Thank you, Zach. See you guys
All right,
later.
bye. Later.